Thank you so much as you join us again at Justice for Aaron Brady campaign. We have shown you in the previous video the readback of the statement Anthony Gerard Maguire gave to Garda Síochána. We will highlight this as we go through each of the videos. We cannot understand why the actual taking of the statement was not recorded, because obviously the facilities was there in the room. So the statement was taken in some shape or form, and then the statement was read back by Detective Phillips to a bewildered Anthony Gerard Maguire. So from that readback, we're going to break down into 5 or 6 videos the content of that and the ramifications it has and the connection, we'll say, to particularly Daniel Cahill and the relevance of these witnesses that allegedly came forward eventually not giving testimony. Nothing got to do with anyone else, only themselves. In relation to Christopher Morton, it's his cowardice, but Anthony Gerard Maguire did withdraw himself. He said he was put under severe duress by Garda Síochána to make a statement. Notwithstanding, we'll cover all that in the coming videos. What we want to show here is what is the possibility of Aaron Brady standing in 2 different pubs, 2 different parts of Woodlawn, 2 years apart, telling 2 first cousins in different circumstances that he was the one who shot Detective Garda Adrian Donoghue. In a city of 8 million people, I'm not sure what the odds are that these 2 men, Anthony Gerard Maguire, Christopher Morton, 2 first cousins. So it's absolutely unbelievable. It is unbelievable because it never fucking happened. Aaron never spoke to these 2 men in relation to anything got to do with Detective Garda Adrian Donoghue. That is for certain, and it is quite obvious to see that, and we've shown that in Christopher Morton and showed him for the liar and the coward that he actually is. So that's Morton, Maguire's first cousin. So just to exacerbate that, possibly it could be 2 cousins, they could be living in different parts of America. Let's listen to Anthony Gerard Maguire telling us this little nugget of information.
I was clean shaven at the time. I was living with my cousin Christopher Morton at the time at 101 Street, 101st Street, apartment 3F, New York, 10029. It was my intention to go back to this address once I got the check changed. Christopher was working on St. Patrick's Day, but as I said, I was dropped by Aidan Morton to the Coachman's Bar in Woodlawn. I walked straight in the front door.
Well, very important piece of information there from Anthony Gerard Maguire. He was living with Christopher Morton at the time Aaron Brady allegedly hit him and cut his eye. Now, Aaron did hit Anthony Gerard Maguire and he did cut his eye. We've covered this before, but not in the circumstances or in the place where Maguire tells us here. Totally different set of circumstances that leads us and links us directly to Daniel Cahill. That will be covered in upcoming videos. So it's very simple. 2 first cousins living together. Aaron Brady allegedly, out of the 8 million people or 8 million people plus in New York, Aaron Brady finds these 2 first cousins. But again, as Maguire has told us, they were living together. Lo and behold, they didn't tell each other that this serious revelation, this amazing piece of information that these 2 men got, neither of them told each other. And again, the geography here is very, very important, because as I look out my front window, look across Carriff Mountain, that is where Morton and Maguire live. That is where their families are as we speak now. So it's not that something's removed, even though they're living in New York. The events and Aaron Brady are from beside them. So any idea that these men didn't tell each other this amazing piece of information, it's impossible. It's totally impossible. It makes no sense. It's not that it makes no sense, it's just impossible. It's fucking nonsense. Now, Christopher Morton did say, when in his later statement to Mark Phillips and to another detective whose name slips my mind, he did tell them that he told his brother Aidan and his then girlfriend, but there's no evidence that Morton or that Detective Phillips and Detective Clancy, went and spoke to these people to clarify that they had been told this wonderful piece of information by Christopher Morton. Now, what's blatant here in relation to the corruption, the collusion, and the creation of a false narrative is Detective Ogle and Detective Murray took Morton's statement, and obviously they're in contact through the incident room, and Senior Investigating Officer Mark Phillips took Maguire's statement. And the detectives don't mention to each other in the statements. So Maguire is not told during the course of the statement that his cousin had made a statement, because Morton had made the statement first. I don't want to confuse the whole issue too much, but Pat Murray had tried to wrangle in Anthony Maguire. So Morton and Murray had tried to pull Maguire into the scenario in the Tombstone bar after the wedding. And we can prove that. It's quite obvious from Pat Murray's podcast of Making a Detective that there was another person who allegedly overheard Aaron say this in the Tombstone bar, but Maguire pulled out. And they had put sufficient, that was in May, but by October of 2017, they had put sufficient pressure on Maguire because of his drugs and ammunition charges here in Ireland to give a false statement against Aaron. And this new story was made up that he was in a pub on St. Patrick's Day. So it is virtually impossible that the guards could not have linked the two together. So when Mark Phillips was taking the statement from Mr. Maguire, he would have had to mention, well, you do know the man you're living with, Christopher Morton, your first cousin. Do you know that Aaron Brady confessed to him also? And vice versa. Pat Murray and Bobby Ogle should have said to Christopher Morton in his statement, we believe other people overheard, or we believe your cousin also heard this. Not a word. It was covered up because it was all too fucking messy. And what these four detectives have done is absolutely disgusting, notwithstanding what these two bastards here have done. And then didn't have the courage to follow through with their lies and deceit. So that's the first video, the impossibility of two first cousins being allegedly told of this heinous crime. They don't tell each other, they're living with each other. Morton does tell his brother and then girlfriend, but there's no record of on Garda Síochána speaking to those people to confirm what Morton had said. And obviously it's runs very, very deep in relation to Sinn Féin and Anton Waters from the information not being checked in Morton's statement. So 8 million people and the two first cousins. So that's the first part of this totally fucking impossible story. And apologies for the language, but it is difficult to continuously every day listen and read these people's statements when we know every word of it is a lie. And every word of it has been generated, created, and has been facilitated by senior members of Garda Síochána. So that's the first little video in relation to Anthony Gerard Maguire's statement. Read back, and obviously we're going to follow up with video 2, and we'll chat with you then. Thank you so much. Please, we're begging you, please like, comment and share. We are being so heavily censored, and our numbers, people are telling us our numbers are all being messed with. So we do need your help. Please keep continuing to like, comment and share, and get Aaron's story out there, because we need people to be aware when we get the likes of these people back into a courtroom, We need the public to be aware of the truth and of Aaron's story. So therefore, a false narrative cannot be run again by these people and their handlers. Thank you so much, and we'll see you in the next video. Thank you.